guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if it's your first time. My name's Emily. I'm currently 32 weeks pregnant with my first baby, which is very hard to believe. Today is actually March 1st, and March could potentially be my last full calendar month of being pregnant, so I think that's just crazy. But at this point, I'm pretty well into my third trimester. I feel like I've kind of crossed that line where I'm really starting to feel pregnant, which is super exciting, but also it can be a little tiring sometimes. I won't lie, but I've loved every freaking second of it. But with feeling more pregnant comes some struggles, and I feel like sleep is a big one that especially pregnant women, but just people in general, struggle with. And I feel like a lot of pregnant women struggle to sleep because it can be a little difficult. You're really limited to what positions you can sleep in, how you can sleep, how long your body will tolerate being in the same position for hours and hours. But I feel like maybe I'm just a really good sleeper. I've been a pretty good sleeper for a long while, but I've definitely had to kind of work at it with getting more pregnant. So I feel like I have some helpful tips, and that's what today's video is going to be about. And just a quick disclaimer, I don't have any kids right now, obviously, so some of these I'm able to do a little more easily than someone who maybe has a 2-year-old running around. I acknowledge that. I have the freedom to kind of budget a little more time for myself. But if you're a first-time mom, or if you're someone who doesn't have kids, or your kids are grown, I feel like these tips could be used for pretty much anyone. Before we get started, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Or let's hop right into my top 10 tips for a better night's sleep. Tip number 1. This is gonna sound stupid and oversimplified, but it is so true, and that is to create a routine. That routine can be whatever it is to you. If you are working full-time, it could be getting off of work, go to the gym, come home, make dinner, clean up, sleep. If that's your routine, then that's your routine. That can look different for everyone, and I'm sure it looks different for a lot of people. But creating a routine, I just feel like in any aspect of your life creates this almost calmness, and it's, you know what you need to do next. You know your next goal to achieve. Just budgeting that time for when you can go to sleep and trying to get as much sleep as you can, especially when you're growing a human, is key. Some kind of nightly routine, really falling into that and leaning into that, is going to be greatly beneficial, I promise. All right, tip number 2 is to limit your water an hour or 2 before bed. I know this is another duh one, but I feel like it's something that we forget about. Now, obviously I'm pregnant, and if you're pregnant, if you're thirsty, then you should drink water. I'm not saying deprive yourself of water or cut yourself off after 8 o'clock, but try to be super mindful and focused on hydrating throughout the day instead of trying to cram it all in at nighttime, because I've definitely been guilty of that. I will be getting up 2 to 4 times in the night to go to the bathroom without fail. It literally never fails, at least twice. But I'd rather get up twice than 4 or 5 times, which I have had those nights, and it's just, try to limit your water if you can. Tip number 3, try to eat dinner at a reasonable time. If you go to bed at 10 o'clock, I feel like trying to be done by 7:30 and at least having 2 to 3 hours to really digest is going to be hugely beneficial, especially if you are struggling with acid reflux. Luckily I'm not, but that is the number 1 tip I've heard for acid reflux, is to not eat right before bed. Also, even if you do eat a little later or whatever the case may be, I think whether you eat early or late, having some kind of movement after dinner just to kind of help fast track your digestion and just to help things settle and just to feel a little better and not so heavy, adding some kind of movement. Take your dogs for a walk, do a little stretch. I feel like even just cleaning up the kitchen is a good movement, but trying not to just be sedentary on the couch for hours after you eat. I feel like definitely helps to not feel so heavy once you lay down for bed. All right, next tip number 4. This has been probably like the biggest piece to my good night's sleep, to be honest. Right before bed, taking my time to stretch, meditate, even just like mindful breathing. I kind of view it as time to like practice my breathing for labor. I swear, even 5 minutes of just super mindful, quiet breathing is life-changing, and I definitely think that can go for anyone at all. It doesn't even have to be right before bed, but taking that quiet time at night, put your kids to bed, like sneak away from your partner if you have to, find 5 minutes of just quiet and just breathe. It really is life-changing. Not to be dramatic, but it is just like, I'm not a good meditator, but I can find 5 minutes to breathe, you know? And if you're farther along in your pregnancy, I don't know about you, but after dinner is when my baby is like ready to party. So I really like to take that time to really just connect with my baby and focus and try to feel her movements and just really connect. I know that probably sounds like a little cheesy, but it's true. I like that mindfulness. I feel like that's my word lately. It's just like mindful. It's so easy to just go through the motions, just trying to get through it so you can go to sleep. I don't know about you, but there are some days I wake up and I'm like, God, I'm ready for bed. So especially at nighttime, before my head hits the pillow, I like to take 10 to 20 minutes and just be very mindful and connect with myself, connect with my baby, practice my breathing, stretch. Honestly, stretching and breathing could be like 2 different tips, but stretching is huge. By the end of the day, I'm pretty stoved up and like sore, and just taking that time, find like a 10-minute prenatal stretch on YouTube and just do it every night. Like, just talking about it is making me want to stretch. All right, tip number 5 might also sound a little cheesy, but it is to spend some amount of quality time with your partner. That can be after dinner, right before bed, sometime during the day, just finding a few minutes to connect. That can be mentally, having a conversation, talking about life, anything, just making sure that you're staying connected physically. And I don't just mean canoodling, I mean holding hands, cuddling, a little scalp massage. I mean, really any kind of massage is greatly appreciated, especially when you're pregnant. Like I said, you can get pretty achy, so if you have a partner to give you a little 5-10 minute massage, I think you should do that. But even just like Sean and I watch a show together and we laugh. It doesn't have to be a huge production. It doesn't have to be a candlelit dinner. Just some amount of time to reconnect with your partner, especially if it's like us, we're leading up to our first baby. I'm very mindful that things are about to change and about to be crazy, and probably for that first year is gonna be just weird, and like, what is a routine, sleep regressions and teething and all the things that are to come in that first year. I'm very mindful of that. That is something that I think a lot more about lately, and really try to take advantage of that. So connect with your partner, and I think especially if you have kids, this could be even more important, because I'm sure your days are wild and crazy. And yes, date nights are fun and awesome, but like, are you gonna do that every night? Probably not. Having like a 5 to 10 minute just time together, I feel like goes a really long way for you and your partner. All right, tip number 6, and that is pillows. Pillows are your best friend. I mean, I've always loved pillows, pregnant or not, but they are your lifesaver when you are pregnant. I know in previous videos I've talked about my pregnancy pillow, but I'm actually like, me and my pillow, we're on a little break right now. We're separating for the time being. It was making me hot. Like, I don't know if it's getting more pregnant and just my body temperature is more sensitive or something, but I just found myself getting like feeling almost claustrophobic, whereas before I was feeling like snuggled and taken care of. It was starting to be like a little overbearing. So we're on a break right now and I've just gone back to my pillows. And I feel like that's been really helpful for my sleep actually. For me personally, I find that like a big, super heavy, dense, thick, like Tempur-Pedic pillow, like in between my arms at nighttime has totally saved my back. Because if you think about it, I don't know if you guys are side sleepers in general. I definitely was not while I was not pregnant. I was a stomach sleeper, unless you have like your arm straight down, which if you sleep like that, you're kind of weird, but whatever. But unless you're having your arm straight down, like it's probably in front of you and it pulls on your back. And for me, I've already been struggling with like back pain in my shoulder blades, probably because of how I was sleeping. But having that like super thick supportive pillow in front of my chest, kind of keeping my arms in line with my body and not pulling, has definitely helped. And I still sleep with a wedge pillow under my back and a pillow between my legs, okay? Super necessary. Also, a little side note, especially if you're dealing with like an achy back, which I feel like most pregnant women in their third trimester have some kind of achiness. At nighttime, when you're switching sides, use both legs to turn. Try not to put all your weight on one leg to shift you over. I find that very helpful, just so you know. Also, I feel like this could be its own tip, but I'm gonna sneak it in to this tip right here, and that is to ice. Especially if you have like an achy back, even just like 5-10 minutes of icing your back helps so much. Reduce the pain obviously, but also there is a correlation between like lowering your body temperature and sleep, because our bodies naturally drop a degree or two when we go to sleep. So an ice pack is kind of like speeding up that process. And I don't know, just try it. If you ice, do you feel like you fall asleep a little quicker? Let me know. All right, tip number 7 is magnesium. Take your magnesium. I don't know if you were here for my video when I talked about restless legs, but that was the only night I've ever had restless legs, and it was the only night I skipped my magnesium because I was out. But I did not take magnesium. Maybe they're not correlated at all. I have no idea. But regardless, magnesium is known to help you sleep better. And I just take your magnesium. Take all your vitamins, but take a magnesium. All right, tip number 8, another simple one. Try not to nap during the day if you don't feel like you really need one. Same thing with kids. When that kid goes down for a nap at 3 o'clock, they're up partying all night. And I feel like it's the same for me. There are some days where I don't care. I need to sleep. Like my body sometimes, especially, it's always around 2:30, 3 o'clock, crash. But if I am having like a good energy day or even like a mild energy day, I really try to just power through my whole day and save all my sleepiness for nighttime. Tip number 9, another huge one, and that is to exercise. Whether I'm pregnant or not pregnant, I always sleep better when I have a workout. And that can be just 30-45 minutes of walking on a treadmill, walking outside, going to the gym, weightlifting, whatever exercise is to you or whatever you enjoy to do or can do if you're like super pregnant. I feel like do that. Do at least half an hour and you will sleep so much better. And I feel like you just feel better about yourself because you took that time, and it's just good for you. It's good to work out, okay? Get some movement in. All right, my 10th and final tip is to do something for yourself. That can be anything that is just for you. If that doing something for you is stretching or meditating, then by all means take that time and stretch and meditate. But it could be, you know, your skincare routine, moisturizing, a chapter out of the book you're reading, shopping on Amazon. Maybe don't shop on Amazon every night, but you know, we can rotate that in there every once in a while. But I mean, set the coffee pot for yourself for the next morning. Am I the only one that like sets a coffee pot like on a timer for the next morning? Am I an old lady? But you get what I mean. Set yourself up for success for the next day. Organize your little list of, you know, what you need to accomplish the next day. I feel like sometimes we have all these to-dos and thoughts circulating in the air around our brain, and sometimes just taking 5 minutes and organizing yourself, at least for me, puts me at ease like immediately. Sometimes for me, doing something for myself is just like cleaning up my closet that I've destroyed over the past 2 days and getting it nice and clean and put back together so that I can wake up to a nice clean closet. Like, it can look different for everyone and it can look very different day to day, but I feel like doing something that is just for yourself and finding that alone time, that quiet time, is so important. That one might also be a little bit cheesy, but I find it to be very true. Sometimes we just need to slow down and breathe and shop on Amazon. All right, those are my top 10 tips for a better night's sleep. I feel like I snuck a couple little extra little ones in there, but I hope someone finds this helpful. If you like this style of video, let me know so I can do more of them. But until then, thank you guys so much for being here. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.